clients, but how you can incorporate it into the advice piece. It really is a cradle-to-grave solution. Disclaimer. So what I will do is I'll take you through the importance of investing in super. So we're just going to recap on that. I won't spend too much time on that. I'm not going to tell you how to suck eggs, but we will talk about the importance of investing in super, then taking your clients through the superannuation story, the transition to retirement, and then some strategies that you can actually use when your clients actually do quit work and retire. So what are some of the key benefits of investing in super? So for your clients that are self-employed, one of the key benefits is obviously it's tax savings. So how can your clients benefit from this? So they can salary sacrifice some pre-tax dollars into superannuation. Contributions are taxed at 15%, so concessionally taxed, unlike outside of super where clients can be subject to pay tax at their marginal tax rate, which could be up to 49%. Also can reduce their taxable income or taxable salary for up to 32% or 34% if you include the Medicare levy. For self-employed clients, similar sort of situation. Your clients can make personal super contributions and claim a tax deduction. The contributions again are concessionally taxed at up to 15%, which again can reduce their taxable income and save tax. One thing you do need to know, obviously, when you're using these strategies for self-employed is that any contributions made in this scenario do actually go towards their contribution cap. So just something that you guys need to be aware of. Also, some of the benefits of investing inside super as opposed to outside super. So basically any earnings within the super fund are taxed at 15%, whereas any earnings, if you invest your clients' money outside super, taxed at their client's marginal tax rate. The other thing is, I suppose, another way of looking at it is, if your client's paying less tax in super, they've got more money invested and working for them for when they retire. Okay, so also when your clients are eligible to access their superannuation monies, they can actually start a tax-effective income stream. And by doing this, obviously, they pay no tax on investments within that fund. So between the ages of 55 and 59, clients can receive taxable income payments, which are concessionally taxed at 15%. We'll talk about these strategies as we go through the presentation. And they can receive income payments of up to $49,750. After your clients turn 60 and or retire, obviously they can receive income which is tax-free. And again, we'll talk about that and look at some case studies to go through the presentation. So what are the two types of income streams that your clients can start with their superannuation? There are two. One is a transition to retirement and the other one is an account-based pension. With the transition to retirement, your client's eligible when they are 55 and over and still working. They need to receive a minimum pension payment of 4% of the account balance and no more than 10% of the account balance, and lump sum withdrawals are only allowed under very strict circumstances. When your clients meet a condition of release, so reach age 55 and retire, they can start an account-based pension. Again, they must receive 4% as minimum income of the total account balance, but there are no restrictions on the maximum they can withdraw from a pension account, and no restrictions on lump sum withdrawals, although there's obviously things to consider depending on your client, whether you would actually take a lump sum withdrawal from your client's pension account. So,
just interrupting, one of the questions that's in debate at the moment is people pulling their super out. Turn 60, pull their super out, buy a caravan, buy a car, go around Australia, no money left on the pension. What do you think is going to be coming down the line for that, to restrict that? Because it looks like it's going to be restricted.
so, sorry, as from a legislative perspective?
I just turned 60, I pulled all my super out, I bought a car, a caravan, I paid off my mortgage, I've gone around Australia, I've got no money left now, and I'm now going full-time onto the pension.
Mhm.
The government's looking at that very strongly. What do you suspect is likely to happen?
Look, as you said, I think there's obviously rules around gifting and things like that now, and I think what the government is doing is really having a close look at, well, you had X amount when you retired, you've basically blown it all, and now, you want us to pay for your retirement. So I think they'll probably put restrictions around maybe the max that you can actually take out and what you actually do with it. But one of the trends that we are also seeing is that people, I think the old school way of thinking where people are sort of saying, well, we have to leave something to our kids or, some sort of a legacy. A lot of people, and I certainly had this conversation with my mum, her whole thing is that she wants to pay her house off and leave us something. And I said, don't worry about us, sell your house, go to Spain, go do whatever you want, don't worry. And I think a lot more people in my mum's age group are going, well, you know what, my kids are fine. I don't necessarily need to worry about leaving them anything. I am going to sell everything, take my super and run. So I think the government, you're right, the government is looking at that a little bit more closely, and they'll probably put restrictions around maybe, what you can actually do with your pension monies and, maybe time frames around that. But yeah, it's a good point. So transition to retirement strategy, great initiative by the government. Basically allows your clients, or helps you to boost your clients' superannuation money without really restricting their current lifestyle. So it's a three-step process. How does it work? So you reduce your client's pre-tax income by making a salary sacrifice or a personal deductible contribution into their superannuation account, and then you use their superannuation money to start a transition to retirement pension, which then you actually draw an income from, which actually supplements the income that you're actually, sorry, let me start again. So basically, you draw tax-effective income from the pension account, which obviously is concessionally taxed, to top up what you're actually putting in from the income. So your salary or your after take-home income is the same. And we'll go through a case study that actually shows how it works. So we've got Craig. Craig is 55, he earns a pre-tax salary of $90,000. His employer also puts in 9.5% contributions, which is a total of $8,550. He's got $300,000 in super, and he wants to retire in 10 years, but wants to maintain his current lifestyle. So, what does he do? So, after speaking to his financial planner, he invests his entire super balance of $300,000 into a transition to retirement pension. His salary sacrifices, from his income, salary sacrifices $26,450 into his super fund. So when you add the $8,550 that his employer also puts in, he's taking full advantage of the cap of $35,000, and then he elects to have an income from the transition to retirement pension of $21,230, which means that it ends up being the same. So he's got money going into his superannuation account that is concessionally taxed, and then he's drawing from his pension account monies that are tax-free. So, what does this do for his position year one? As you can see, even though that he's reduced his pre-tax salary to $63,550, the money that he's receiving from his transition to retirement pension enables him to receive an after-tax income of $66,953, which was his goal. He didn't want it to impact what he's taking home, but you can see there that he's reduced what he's actually paying in tax. So he's basically taking home the same amount of money. He's putting more money into super, which is invested and working for him, and he's paying less tax. Any questions? So transition to retirement strategy, does need to be reviewed. So over the next 10 years, Craig's advisor recommends the following things. He salary sacrifices contributions, he adjusts what he's salary sacrificing into his transition to retirement pension to stay within the concessional contribution caps. Basically, the contribution caps are scheduled to change, so in increments of $5,000 per annum, so he needs to make sure that he adjusts that, so he stays within that contribution cap. Excuse me. He also adjusts his income payments, so his after-tax income stays the same, and he changes the amount that he invests into the transition to retirement pension. So what does it mean dollar-wise for Craig? Money talks. So this is basically the value of the strategy. After 10 years in the strategy, Craig would actually receive $116,849,000 more than if he hadn't had a transition to retirement strategy in place. So saved on tax, had more money working for him, invested in his superannuation account, which has added a benefit to his retirement income for when he retires. So we've spoken about some of the benefits of investing in super and then taking your clients through to a pre-retirement strategy, so your TTR. I think it's important to take a bit of a step back, and it's important to really understand how much is it that your clients actually need. So these can actually be some of the questions that you ask your clients. A lot of advisors sort of ask us, well, what measures should we use? How do we determine how much our clients actually need in retirement? And it's not prescriptive. Every client is different. Every client's circumstances are going to be different. You might have some clients that when they retire will be, asset rich but income poor, or some might still have some debt when they go into retirement. We're seeing more of that as well at the moment. So people are retiring but they still, have a mortgage to pay off. Some of the common themes that we do see advisors using is using maybe a percentage of retirement salary. So say, for example, 75% of pre-retirement salary. Others use a fixed amount. So for example, this presentation says $60,000 in today's dollars. So again, some things to consider because as your clients retiring today, their life expectancy is going to be very different, in 10 years' time. People are living up to 30 years in retirement, so they're actually living in retirement longer or just as long as their working careers. So it's something that needs to be reviewed on an ongoing basis. One of the other measures that some advisors do use, and this is something that you all have access to, is the ASFA retirement standard. So ASFA basically benchmarks the annual budget needed for Australians to fund either a comfortable or modest standard of living after they finished work. It's updated quarterly to reflect inflation, so it is something that is updated, so it's probably not a bad idea to even just have a look and maybe use this as a guide. And so this is for the March quarter, so the most recent figures show that in general, a couple looking to retire, so modest 33,509, or comfortable is 57,817 for a couple. Now, I can't even live on that now myself. That doesn't cover my shoes, my handbags. So I don't know. Does anyone actually think that their clients would be happy to retire on that amount of money?
No debt, no problem.
No debt, no problem.
No debt, no problem.
Yeah, but I live their life like you do at the moment, Patricia.
Hey?
I've done all what you're currently doing. I've got the handbags and the shoes and everything stocked up and all that required.
I can tell you that my mum's health benefits cost around $600 a month.
Yeah. So that leaves you with 4,400.
Yeah, what about my birthday presents?
I
Bags?
only have one per year.
I actually want to
You
ask,
can't live on that.
I actually want to ask my colleagues here, with their experience, if they've actually got clients at the age of 65 and got no debts, house paid off, and they've got $600,000 or $700,000 in super.
Very.
Have you come across?
Yeah, I have, but very few.
Very few.
Yeah, well, I can tell you from experience, once you've got your debts paid off and you're into retirement and there's no no freaking kids living at home. Yeah. This is 40 to 50 grand is plenty of, you know, take care of your private health cover, take care of everything, a reasonable lifestyle. Plus, on top of that, you need your holidays and everything else you want.
Alan, I agree with you 100%. I just want to know how many clients do you know that's actually in that situation? Who's got no debt to the age of 65, only $600,000 in super.
Yeah, we've got a couple. Most of them reckon about $1,000 a week. Yes, you need some extra if you want to do holidays and go a little bit up a little bit more, but $1,000 a week would be more than sufficient, they tell me.
Yeah, that's net. You're not paying tax anymore.
You're not paying tax.
I still couldn't live on that.
Well,
Look, 2
then
points
you're
I'm going to
gonna be
make
in a
here.
lot of
My mum
trouble
was
when
very
you
happy to have me
retire.
living at home till I was 34, so that's one thing.
That's what's great.
That's right.
What if we didn't actually sit here and have
You
this
won't need it for
conversation?
long because you'll be dead.
The whole point of actually the discussion today and putting some of these strategies in place, like your TTR, so your clients actually salary sacrificing into super, starting at a younger age. Your clients, starting a TTR for your clients. We might not even need to have this conversation. The whole point is if you look after your clients now, then they'll be better off in the future. They don't have to live. They don't have to try and find a way of getting their kids really cool handbags on $57,000 a year. Okay, because they might be able to retire on much more than that. Okay, so that's all we're talking about.
And or retire earlier as well.
And or retire early. And actually, which leads me to my next point, is how much is enough for your clients? Do they actually know? Do they know how much is enough? Do they know how much they want to retire on? And if they didn't have a choice, would they be willing to retire early? Because that's all well and good that we say, I can work until I'm X amount. But what if they did have to retire early? Would your clients be in a financial situation that they could live comfortably if they had to retire before they wanted to? Okay, so this is where you come in as an advisor. Really understanding your clients' goals, not only now, but what they're looking at doing in the future. Okay, and using strategies like these make your clients sticky clients. Okay, as we move more into a fee-for-service type of environment, a lot of advisors ask me, well, Therese, how do I stay relevant in my clients' eyes as they get older? I put their insurances in place, I've set up their transition to retirement strategy, and that's all done. How do I keep charging a fee? Well, it's looking at these and looking at this ongoing, and then not only just taking them to the, but then when they actually retire, and then the intergenerational wealth transfer. So looking at their their kids as well. So just some things to consider. So transition to retirement, as I mentioned before, fantastic initiative. By the government, really allows clients to accelerate their wealth as they are approaching retirement. It is important that when you are looking at a fund for your clients that you do make sure, most funds do offer transition to retirement pensions, but just make sure that the super fund that you use does offer a transition to retirement pension so you can actually take advantage of that. What are the key benefits? So supplementing your client's income and maybe potentially being able to reduce their working hours. But the main benefit of a transition to retirement strategy is to increase your client's superannuation while they maintain their current lifestyle. Might seem like a simple strategy, 3-step process. We all know that it's not. In order for your clients to receive an optimal outcome, they need you. This is not a get on the internet and help yourself type thing. Your clients do need you because only you as an advisor can ensure that they don't fall outside their contribution caps, they withdraw the required amount from their pension, select appropriate investments, which is obviously very important, and obviously review this strategy on an ongoing basis. So again, another strategy that your clients do need you. So what are some ideal situations for a transition to retirement? So clients that are willing to reduce or maintain their current net income, clients that are not intending or not intending to reduce work but wanting to maintain their current lifestyle. Significant clients with significant super benefits. Clients with tax-free super component if they're under 60. Clients with a higher marginal tax rate. Or clients that are imbalanced or aggressive investment profile. So as we go through the rest of the presentation, I urge you guys to actually sit there and think, okay, maybe even jot down at least 3 clients that you already know in your mind that you can call that would benefit from it.
Sure, another area where I think we overlook for business are people in industry funds.
Yep.
People in industry super funds, if they want to do executive R, maybe the funds don't pay anyone commission for giving advice. Right? So they're going to want advice around this. If they want to get advice from their industry funds, it's going to cost them a lot of money to go and get advice. So it wasn't paid for you to get advice.
Absolutely.
Just on that point, when you mentioned industry funds, not all industry funds actually offer a pension account.
Correct.
Yeah.
And those that do, a lot of them have to sell down your super account balance to move it over to pension. So you realise in the CGP super it may be paying 10%, whereas a lot of the retail providers you can move it across without through your CGP and do the CGP sell down in your pension phase and actually pay the 10%. So there's a lot of advantages to your clients seeing themselves give advice on this early before they get to this phase.
So anyone that's industry funded in 55, you need to talk to them.
Absolutely. And at MLC, we love clients from industry funds. So please give myself or myself a call if you can think of any clients by the end of today's presentation. So, in summary, a transition to retirement strategy is a tax-effective measure to increase your clients' retirement benefits. And again, I urge you all to think about at least 3 clients that you know could benefit from one of these strategies. So, spoken about what you can do for your clients pre-retirement, so the advantages of investing in super and salary sacrificing into super. Then we're talking about a strategy that you can use whilst your clients are still working to maximise, reduce tax and increase their retirement funds. But what happens when your clients actually retire? So what do you do with your client's pension when your clients actually retire? So we're going to just have a quick look at a case study and how you might use an account-based pension. So, simple strategy. It involves moving tax-free, so basically moving your client's money from their superannuation to an account-based pension, which is tax-free, and as Sylvie said, not all industry funds actually allow you to do that. A lot of them either don't have an account-based pension that you can move it to, or you are required to sell down the funds and then obviously realise CGT, and there also could be time out of the market and things like that. So with MLC and other providers as well, you can actually move from super straight through to an account-based pension. We basically just unit assign it all across. It stays in the investments and there's no change. It's just one form. Then your client, so basically move from super to pension, and then your clients obviously receive pension payment from their pension account, which is concessionally tax or tax-free. Okay, so let's have a look at a case study. We've got Ruth. So Ruth is 55 years of age. She has $500,000 in super. She's ready to retire and needs an after-tax income of $35,000. And she's considering 2 options. So does she start an account-based pension and draw an income of $35,000 from that, or does she take her money as a lump sum and invest it outside of super? So what are the results after 20 years? By moving it into a pension account and not taking it as a lump sum, she would be $140,000 better off. Main reason really is the tax savings. So obviously, as we spoke about before, money invested outside super would be taxed, whereas in an account-based pension would be tax-free. Any questions on that?